Do you know what monks feared most during the long, cold nights of the Middle Ages? It wasn't the devil's whispers, or even the temptation of sin. It was silence, because in the silence, something else could whisper back. The year was 1532. In a stone monastery deep in the forests of Bavaria, Brother Matthias had always been known as a man of diligence, a monk who spent endless hours in the scriptorium carefully copying holy texts. His quill moved like a steady tide, black ink flowing across parchment in neat, divine lines. But one winter's evening, as the wind howled through the monastery halls, Matthias found something buried beneath a stack of unused vellum. It was a manuscript unlike any other. The leather was old and the pages were filled with strange symbols and words in a language that sounded almost alien. As Matthias turned through the book, he felt a presence in the room with him, a feeling of being watched, and then he heard it, a whisper in his ear, "Copy me." The voice was raspy and ancient, and it seemed to come from the book itself. Matthias froze. Was he going insane? Or was this the devil's own book? What do you do when you find an ancient book in a dusty attic? Well, if you're me, you take it home and read it, of course. But this one was different. The cover was plain, bound in cracked leather that smelled faintly of iron. No title adorned it, but when he opened the first page, his breath caught in his throat. The letters were written in a script he had never seen before, jagged, angular, and read as though the words had been cut into the page with blood instead of ink. He should have taken it straight to the abbot, but curiosity, as they say, is the oldest sin. And that night, by the faint glow of a candle, Matthias began to copy the strange writing onto fresh parchment, line by line. His hand trembled, but the ink seemed to guide him as though the quill knew the shapes better than his mind did. By midnight, his candle guttered and he closed the book. When morning came, the bell tolled not for prayer, but for death. Brother Lucas had been found cold in his bed, his mouth stained black as though he had swallowed ash. The other monks whispered of plague and curses and divine punishment, but Matthias said nothing. The next night, unable to resist, he opened the manuscript again. The letters seemed to move now, writhing like living worms across the page. He copied them, fighting the urge to look away. As he finished the last line, he heard something in the cloisters beyond the scriptorium. Soft footsteps followed by a long, wet breath. He froze. When he looked back at the parchment, his jaw tightened. The words he had just copied had rearranged themselves into a single sentence, written clearly in Latin. "One more shall join us. By dawn, Brother Anselm was dead. His body was found kneeling before the altar, hands folded in prayer. But his eyes had been gouged out, and the sockets stuffed with parchment scraps. The monastery panicked. The abbot ordered all books burned except the scriptures, fearing heresy had slipped past their holy walls. But Matthias kept the manuscript hidden, and that night he returned to it again. The red script shifted as he read, whispering to him now, not in sound, but directly in his mind. "Write, Matthias, write us free."